What's up, guys and gals? We are back from the news segment, and I think we're going to talk a little bit about the devil this week.
Daredevil.
Season 2 just came out, Friday?
Friday.
Yeah. And it real good.
Let me tell you, I planned all week long. My wife and I dedicated a date night to watching this show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we got rid of the kid, and we watched Daredevil. And then I even got up in the middle of the night and watched more Daredevil.
What?
Yeah, and then
That's
I watched
dedication, Holmes.
more Daredevil the next day. So I've almost watched the whole thing.
What episode
10.
are you on?
Episode 10, I think I'm in the middle of right now.
There's 13 whole
Total,
episodes,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Bert, what episode are you on?
I'll be starting 4.
All right,
I've watched the first 3.
I'll be starting 10.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So this show is amazing. Like literally, the first season of this show is probably some of my favorite TV of all time, hands down. And this season is just as freaking good. Like, I did not even think they could have a character like Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin in again, because he just did such a good job with that character as far as like giving it depth.
It'd be hard to top that for sure.
Yeah. That, I mean, I felt at times with that character when I was watching season 1, where it was like, I really feel for this. I'm totally sympathizing with this guy right now. You know, I feel bad for him, and then he crushes the dude's head in a car, and it's like, this motherfucker's crazy, you know? And so you have that feeling with this character the whole way around, and there's so much depth and just layers to this character. And then they bring along the Punisher.
Oh,
John
the Punisher.
Barenthal's Punisher.
It is so good.
And I don't think Bert's made it to the episode yet, but I cried when he gave his backstory.
I think that's the episode that I'm getting ready to watch. I think episode 4 is
when he gives his backstory, when he starts telling his story to Daredevil, and mind you, this is not like flashbacks. He's just telling his story to Daredevil. I cried. I've watched it twice now because I had to rewatch it with Michelle because she didn't watch it. Both times I cried.
holy shit.
It is,
And we're men.
yeah, it is.
We don't cry.
It is intense, and you know, part of it too is I've become all mushy sap about fucking children since I had my kid, you know. So like, if there's anything to do with, and obviously if you don't know the Punisher's backstory, his family died by gang related sort of murders. No matter what iteration of the Punisher you're looking for, it's always the same.
Yeah.
So, when he gave his backstory in this, it was just so brutal. And let me tell you, it wasn't even the part when he talks about her being killed. It's the part when he talks about seeing her when he comes home from the war.
Because in this one, he's Iraq and Afghanistan veteran, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And let me tell you, I mean, and there's so many other facets to this character that haven't been revealed yet. I mean, when they get to the trial, they really like lay it on as to who he is, and there's some other things that during the trial.
What trial?
You'll get there.
Also, we might have forgotten to mention there might be some mild spoilers.
Mild spoilers here. Mild spoilers.
We're gonna try to stay away from like any like big reveals or anything, but we'll probably be hitting on some like at least solid story beats.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that Jeff is talking about is really cool is you get glimpses at the Punisher through different angles, and they use him as not only as a villain, but they also use him as a major point for a plot device, essentially to move the plot along. And it's he's really well integrated into the show as a whole.
Oh yeah. And they just nail him from the comic books.
Yeah.
You know, like if you read any other, like for instance, when you read Civil War and when you read the other characters talking about Frank Castle, like the characters are like, even the heroes are split among what he does. Mm-hmm. You know, some people think he's taking out, he's doing a good job. Some people think rightfully so. He's a sociopath.
Yeah, he's crossing the line.
He's crossing the line.
He's like not the antithesis, the words.
Words. I have all the best words.
Epitome. He's like the epitome of like the anti-hero.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like a lot of characters, especially during the '90s, were like it was cool to be like the anti-hero.
Yeah.
Are they good? Are they bad? They're gray. You don't know which one. And at some point along the line, they either went completely bad, which not a lot of them did, but then a lot of them were just turned into heroes.
Well, I think this is.
I mean, he's still like that.
Yeah, I think this is something that makes this is a character trait that makes Batman so popular. Is that he is willing to like quote unquote punish criminals, but he's not going to cross that killing line. You know, he's willing to do what he needs to do.
Much like Daredevil.
Yeah, a lot like Daredevil. Exactly. But you know, the Punisher, he's completely lost it.
He's a honey badger. He don't give a shit.
Yeah. The way that they do his, like, why he's sociopathic in the show. I don't want to reveal too much, but the way that they do that, I thought was awesome. I thought that was great. I've only read like a few Punisher stories. I'm mostly familiar with him through bigger event arcs like Civil War and like I don't even know that he was in House of M that much.
Civil War is the one where he just like busts into the big meeting and just like off somebody like right there, isn't it?
Yeah, he's fucking crazy as shit in Civil War, and that's the way they portray him the whole way. Is like you don't get any other Frank Castle than the crazy Frank Castle is going to kill somebody, other than when he pulls in Spider-Man into Cap's like lair, and he's like, this kid needs some help, you know, because there is that part of Frank Castle that is a human being too.
Yeah, well, that's what they do a good job with in the show right now, is that they play on your sympathies for his situation. No, you don't necessarily, you may or may not agree with what he's doing, but regardless, you feel sympathy and empathy for him. You feel bad for the guy.
Yeah. I mean, what happens to him should not happen to anybody.
Exactly.
But that's the whole thing in the trailer when he says, "You're one bad day away from being me." When he says that to Matt Murdock, you know, then it's that, dude, that totally just wraps up that character. I feel like, you know, and John Barenthal, man,
he is killing it.
That's whenever I saw that he was cast as the Punisher, I was like, I guess I could kind of see him as. I don't like. That's not who I envisioned as playing the Punisher. Whenever they announced that the Punisher was going to be in it,
but now I can't imagine anybody else now.
Dude,
okay, but man,
his
voice. I mean, his
really
delivery. It's awesome.
Everything he says to anybody could theoretically start a fight with him. You know what I'm saying? Everything he says to anybody. Oh God, there's so much I can talk about, but I can't. But
next week we'll talk about next week.
Yeah, next week, man. He is just he like Jim said, man. He's just killing it. I will say this: Jim hasn't seen it yet. We were talking about it during the break a little bit, and I know you haven't seen it yet because you're only on season or episode 3. But John Barenthal gets his hallway fight scene.
Oh, he does.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And it's awesome.
'Cause I've seen the hallway tribute with Daredevil after their big showdown.
Yeah.
Where it's not the hallway; it's down a stairwell, but it's like one 5-minute long continuous shot.
Yeah.
No fucking breaks, nothing. Just start filming at the very top, go all the way down, fighting his ass off with a fucking chain.
Yeah, that was so badass. That was
Dude,
so
that
badass,
was
the way he
God.
used
It was
that.
so awesome.
It was real Ghost Rider-esque.
That's the exact same thing that I thought, and I was like, Ghost Rider TV show. Ghost Rider TV show.
They even give you a little taste of that during the Elektra Daredevil Yakuza fight.
Oh yeah.
I haven't even gotten to Elektra yet.
Yeah. Here's another thing I want to talk about here.
Elektra.
Well, Elektra, but when we watch the trailers, okay, it's mainly focused around Punisher, as it should be, because that is a big part of this season. But when you watch the trailers, I can remember thinking this at episode 3. I think I've seen all the shit that's in the trailer so far.
Yeah.
You know, like you had by episode 3, you have seen most of the trailers, so that leaves you as a viewer going,
10 more episodes.
What the fuck is going to happen now?
Yeah.
I was saying something to one of my friends on Facebook last night, putting some stuff up, and he was like, "Man, the writing is so good." And he was like, "Just fucking wait." It's like,
Yeah.
but that's exactly how I don't know why I was thinking that, because the first season was the exact same way.
Mm-hmm.
You get like 3 episodes in, it's like, man, this is really good. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing 10 more episodes like this, but then it gets so much fucking better.
Well, the thing about it is the way that they played the Punisher story arc. Like, seriously, after episode 4, that could have been a season finale.
Yeah, it really could have.
Episode 4. That's only a third of the way through the whole season. That could have been a season finale. They could have ended it there, and that would have been a complete wrap up of a story arc. But they've got to add in Elektra, and then they've got some extra bonus stuff that's gonna blow your mind when you get there. Yeah.
I'm going home right now. Taste fuckers.
I'm serious. When they get to this stuff, and it even involves Punisher. Like this,
They tie it all together,
extra
while at the
stuff.
same time, kind of zooming out.
As a big picture.
Yeah.
You know, and they even give you it's 2 very different storylines. You know, like you have the storyline that I feel like is
You got a Matt.
is wrapped up in this city.
Yeah.
Or in this season, excuse me. With the Punisher.
Mm-hmm.
You have all of this that has to play out. But then you have this Elektra stuff that's going on.
Yeah, well, that's what was really cool. It's like you got the whole city thing with the Punisher. Most of that, for the majority of season 2, is wrapped up with Matt Murdock being a lawyer, and that whole thing.
Uh-huh.
And then this whole Elektra side is really like kind of his Daredevil personality, having to deal with all this stuff, and it's all happening at the same time. And you see, it's like taking its toll on.
You have this part of the season where I feel like you didn't have this in season 1, but you can kind of feel where Daredevil is creeping more into Matt Murdock's life.
Yeah,
Okay.
And really starting to affect
exactly
him and his relationships with Matt Murdock's relationships with other people.
Like in one of the first,
lot of tension.
in the first or second episode, something happens. Spoiler, kind of, but he was basically like left to die on top of a building, and Foggy finds him. Foggy
Where
just starts going up to the top of building.
Punisher shoots him.
Finds, shoots him in the head, and
yeah.
finds him and takes him back down into his apartment, washes him up and everything, and whatever starts to super kind of spoiler warning, whatever's starting to happen with his senses.
Where he goes deaf,
Yeah,
basically.
where he completely loses everything. Hearing, he can't sonar or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was like the first time this season where like the Daredevil stuff kind of crept into the Murdock and started affecting like his other like actual personal relationships.
It gets really intense.
Yeah,
And it really affects him, like big major things that Matt Murdock would never miss. He's missing because of this part of his life. But also, this plays on his relationship with Elektra, too.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Because they're inherently intertwined.
He even says in one of the episodes that their relationship is toxic for both of them. And I didn't really fully grasp the line until maybe an episode later, when I could see how their relationship affected both of them.
yeah.
And I mean, this is the type of writing, like, this is just a comic book character, but this could be on HBO. This could be on, this is just as good and heady as Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And just as involved as any of those, like, big shows like that.
I think that's just like a testament to like how much good writing can elevate pretty much any concept.
Yeah.
I mean, just like they're doing it with Daredevil, they did it with Jessica Jones. Same kind of scenario with Young Justice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a comic book TV show, but the writing is so damn good that it's just good on just all levels.
Yeah, yeah. And really, they're just like, they are, man. They're firing on all pistons. I mean, everything about this show is amazing. Like, there's not really one beef other than maybe, like, but I even see that is even entertaining. Like, to see the dynamic between Foggy and Matt when it does get to that point. When it is to the point where Daredevil is affecting Matt so much that it can't be helped.
Yeah.
And you start to see a little bit of Foggy from season 1.
Yeah. Where he starts to get kind of mad about it.
Yeah. And you start to see that a little bit, but then you sympathize with Foggy because Matt Murdock is a flawed hero. he is a flawed character.
He's dropping the ball.
Yeah, I mean, he's just dropping the ball all over the place, and
so it's kind of catching up to him.
Yeah,
yes.
it's catching up to him. But you also have this aspect of the Elektra storyline, which
Elektra nachos,
which will relate back to some of what season one's unanswered questions. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Okay. There was some things that we didn't get answered in season 1.
Well, they made reference to Elektra in season 1. I think said something. I think Foggy just said something about his crazy Greek girlfriend.
They mention her in season 1, but this goes even deeper than that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It gets really involved.
It's like in the comics, like her family was like the Greek mafia or something. Her family was offed, so she kind of went off the deep end and started training with the Hand.
Well, she does. I don't want to spoil too much.
I haven't seen anything, but I'm assuming that she's involved somewhat with the Hand. That was kind of brought into season 1. You don't have to say anything. That's just what I'm assuming. Like with the red, the whole red kind of ties into it.
She is involved. She is involved with the Hand a bit.
Okay,
but
I think that kind of ties. And that's not really spoiler. That ties back into the comic
not
books.
The way that you think.
Okay,
that's all I'll say. But it is really good, and the way that they incorporate that, but then you're still dealing with Punisher stuff all the same time. And so Matt's got all this stuff that he's dealing with that he can't really let.
He can't juggle it all.
He can't. Yeah, because he can't even let Foggy know about some of this at certain points.
No.
Elektra's basically keeping their law firm afloat for a good chunk of the season.
It's fucking cool.
And
with like
and Matt has,
was?
Yeah, and Matt has to keep all this under wraps because he can't tell Foggy that Elektra's giving me money for our firm so we can stay in business.
In the very first episode, Karen basically says like, "Yeah, we're broke.
Yeah,
we have no money whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like even if these people pay us, we still don't have enough money to pay our bills and to pay ourselves."
One of the things I've appreciated is how they developed Karen's character.
Good.
Just in general, from where she's come from season 1 to now. I mean, she was kind of this damsel in distress when we first meet her in season 1, and they've really developed her character. Now she's kind of almost a mix of what Ben's character was in the first season, and this, and still Karen, but she's a lot more complex and interesting, and she's more capable now.
She still has this like desire to get to the truth of something.
Exactly.
But now it's way more refined, and she knows what to do with that sort of ambition.
Yeah.
She's got she has more of a way to direct this energy and get results by herself as opposed to having to rely on.
And she plays an integral
people.
part in some of the storyline. And
yeah,
like it's
There's a whole section of the storyline that she's basically developing on her own.
Yeah.
I think like even in the second episode, she was basically like in charge of somebody, and he looks at her and says something to the effect of, "You need to get out of here or you're going to get killed." And she looks at him and says like, "Honestly, I'm your best chance of staying alive right now. Sit the fuck down."
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome that she's like turned into like that much of a badass and that confident about her abilities.
And here's the thing about her is, and this has been going on since season 1, there's backstory about her that we still don't know.
Exactly.
There's some fucked up shit in her past that she's really ashamed of, that she's really touchy about, that nobody, like anybody that's watching the show, the only person that knew was Ben Urich, and he's dead.
Yeah.
And it sort of comes back up later, but
does it have anything to do with the Frank Miller?
No.
Damn.
Not yet. But
I was kind of hoping they were going to start threading some of those.
It's sort of heading in a born again direction.
Okay.
But you can only see it if you've read the comic book. I mean, it's way far away. You know, they're only like planting seeds now for all of that stuff.
Dude, think about we're probably still going to get like maybe two more seasons of Daredevil in the future.
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
Dude.
So I imagine they'll do Born Again. They'll do some of that storyline because Kingpin is a heavy character in the Marvel universe. So that's you've got to see him again at some point.
Yeah.
You know, whether it be in this show or another show.
They've
you know?
even introduced some of like the side characters in Jessica Jones. Nuke. They introduced him.
I forgot he was
he's
even
in the
Born Again. Yeah.
He's in the Born Again comic for, I think it's only like maybe 1 or 2 issues.
Yeah,
he's not in there for a
very
long time. But I mean, he's kind of a major character for a small arc. So he's already in the universe.
Yeah, man. This thing that they're doing with the Defenders, and I feel like this will be my favorite Marvel anything.
Oh,
yeah.
Dude,
You know,
Rosario Dawson.
The
Night Nurse.
Night Nurse.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she's amazing.
Dude.
She's great.
Every time she's on the screen, I'm like, fuck yeah, this is getting ready to be, some real shit's getting ready to go down.
Even when she was in Jessica Jones, it was amazing. She was great.
And the little throwback that they do to that whenever she's in the hospital, so like, yeah, I've been here for 7 or 16 days straight or whatever, is kind of punishment for me helping somebody else.
Yeah.
That's whenever she was taking care of Luke Cage for like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, because she just disappeared from work.
Yeah.
Like in the middle of her shift.
Like, that's cool as shit. It's like these things have actual like real life believable repercussions.
There is even another harder Jessica Jones reference later on by Foggy's ex-girlfriend.
Yep.
I think you remember her?
Oh, from Daredevil season 1, the blonde.
Yeah, the blonde.
He ends up getting up with her, and she gives she name drops Jessica Jones.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. It's really really cool.
It's the same feeling whenever they started like doing like the Marvel Phase 1 stuff, and you see like all the little like puzzle pieces getting dropped into place.
Yeah.
But it's like that, but it's better because the writing's better.
Oh yeah.
I mean, not take anything away from the Marvel movies. I mean, they're amazing.
It's just proof of that debate that television's a better medium for this thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, you get to tell longer stories, longer story arcs. They get to develop slowly. You know what I'm saying? They get to develop in a way that
it's more natural.
Is more natural. But then you also have the same thing with like natural character development. You know, you don't have to cram all this into a 2-hour movie.
Exactly.
You can do this gradually and subtly, the way it happens in life. And the more people can relate to it, the more ratings you're gonna, the more people are gonna watch watch that show. You know.
And I mean, it's just better suited for the medium that it's based on.
Yeah.
I mean, comic books are told in a serial progression where you got
very true.
This one. It's not just like, well, I mean, sometimes you got graphic novels,
right,
which like the Dark Knight Returns is basically Batman Superman.
Yeah.
So I mean, okay, make a movie about it. That works well. But if you want to tell like this kind of story where you've got like years and years of story progression, it's better for like a TV show.
Yeah, I agree. And just the way that everything is done, it's kind of made me want to go back and watch Jessica Jones, just to see that I've gotten all of it that I need to get from Jessica Jones. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to talk over him and keep it going.
Mom, mommy, Lois.
What? And it's kind of weird because, you know, normally with a television show, I would go back and rewatch like maybe the last part of the season or something like that, which I had totally planned on doing with Daredevil.
I want to do the same thing. I was thinking about going back and watching at least like the last episode.
Well, I mean, they have a little recap in the trailer section. That's what I watched before I even started season 2.
I did watch the recap, and but even still, once I got about a quarter of the way through, I was like, man, I want to watch Jessica Jones again. And I didn't have that hankering to go watch season 1 of Daredevil. It was like, okay, I remember what's happening by now, but I want to watch Jessica Jones to make sure I've gotten all I can get from that.
No.
And come back. And once I'm, 10 episodes into Daredevil, I'll probably go back and watch Jessica Jones again. But it's just this world that they're creating, this world within a world that they've already created.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just this little small part of it, I feel like for me is just where I want to stay for a minute, because it's really, really good.
Oh, one last thing was, did they bring up any more of like the mystical stuff?
Oh yeah,
they did.
Let me just say this without spoiling anything. Everything
I can see Jim like, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's fucking awesome.
Let me say everything Electra based is based in that.
Yes.
It all of it's not going to seem that way, because that's not the way that the writers want you to lead. But it all does lead back to
like Iron Fist kind of stuff.
It all leads back to integral Daredevil stuff.
Yes, that's exciting.
Yeah, and like I said, you in this season more than the second season.
Yes,
you feel like you have this world that is on the surface that people are seeing. That people are seeing Punisher, people are seeing Kingpin, they're seeing him, Murdoch and Nelson take these cases. But then you have this underworld.
Yeah, this whole undercurrent of like is way bigger stuff happening.
Mystical, magical, very much dealing in the Orient. Not even so much any of the other gangs. It's mainly just...
So it's kind of like Star Wars, where you've got like the rebels fighting the Imperials. That's what everybody sees, but like the underpinnings of it all is the Sith and the Jedi.
Yeah, and it's been going on for much longer.
Nobody knows. It's like myths, kind of.
This has been going on since the 16th century.
Yeah,
something like that. Like it gets into some really heavy stuff.
And that like worlds within worlds thing has I've just always like gravitated towards that because it's just so fucking interesting.
Yeah, it really is, man. And I would almost hope that you would see some sort of like reference to some of this in some of the upcoming like team movies, like this in the upcoming Avengers movies or something like that, you know.
Oh.
I feel like by the time that they resolve this that we're talking about, there's no way that this isn't going to be in an Avengers movie because this seems big.
Yeah,
this seems huge, like that what they're talking about, and this may even be why they form Defenders. You know what I mean? Because this is an overall story.
That's a very valid point, actually.
This is an overall story that's going to happen. I can't see any other way that they would incorporate Danny Rand unless it was just to incorporate Danny Rand as being Luke Cage's friend, and then he finds this magical stuff that eventually leads into that Daredevil Elektra stuff. You know, this stuff that they're dealing with Elektra, I feel like is the glue that's going to tie everything else together within Hell's Kitchen.
I'm so excited to go back home and start watching Daredevil again. I had to make myself... I'm actually surprised that I had the gumption to stop watching Daredevil last night. Because I got back around 8:30 and just drank some beers and started watching Daredevil. I was like, yep, I'm done. Then I had to make myself stop after episode 3.
You're a better man than I am, dude.
It was 12 o'clock.
I just kept going, dude. I kept going. It was 4 a.m. the other night.
Nice.
Yeah, I was hardcore into it, dude.
All right, so if you were to just rate season 2 of Daredevil, 5 stars being ideal, where would you rate it at?
Oh, 5. Yeah. I would give it 5 right now because, that's
is that a trick question? It sounds like a trick question.
Yeah, but that's because I'm into it right now. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna take me being away from it for a month or 2 months, and then like coming back to it, or maybe not even coming back to it, just for like reflections on the show, you know. But right now, it's got its hooks in me.
All right, Bert. What about you? You all know you're only 3 episodes in, but
I'd say a 4.5.
Okay.
I mean, the only reason I'm not saying 5 is just because 5 is 5.
Let me tell you, once you watch the next episode, when
it'll be a 5.
The Punisher is sitting in a graveyard. That's all I'm gonna say, and he's telling.
Okay, I'd heard something about a church.
Yeah. Well, they're I guess it's probably at a church somewhere, but they're in a graveyard, and Punisher is telling Daredevil his backstory. That was just as heavy as watching the Kingpin's backstory, you know. But the thing about it was the Kingpin, you actually got scenes. You actually
they did like the flashback.
They told those stories in flashback scenes.
This is John.
The only thing you got is John Bernthal.
He's nailing it,
being real as fuck. And like I said, I watched it twice. I cried both times. Like I mean, I wasn't.
Dude, that's fucking high praise, man.
I wasn't boohooing, but it's definitely like
getting a little misty,
dude.
Dirt got in your eye.
Tears. I had 2 tears. I counted them. roll down my face last night, dude.
I'm scared, man.
Michelle didn't budge, but I was like, she was like, you know, whatever. But like for me, it was like I knew it was coming, and I think I started crying before he even started talking about it. I was like, oh my god.
Dude, that's super fucking high praise for something, man. Because entertainment does not make me cry.
I'm telling you, dude. And here again, like I said before earlier, I turned into a super big mush bag since I had my kid. So as soon as you started talking about like losing children or children kidnapping, I'm like,
That's like Marley and me. People that don't have pets, they see Marley and me like, what's a big fucking whoop? Dogs die all the time. I was like, got something. Push it down. All right, we're good.
Push it way
We're good.
down.
Yeah. We're good.
but it's it's something about watching John Barenthal and you see him trying to push this. You see him doing what you're talking about. You see him trying to push this down because you know he knows he's not that dude. He knows he's not that character that cries about something. You know, and then he starts talking about the strength of his daughter. You know, whenever he. Dude, I can't even talk about it, dude. It's so intense, man. God, it's so good. Yeah. If you guys haven't watched any Daredevil, what the fuck are you doing right now? Like, seriously, go watch it. It's amazing.
I'm really, really looking forward to the rest of it, man.
All right. I don't think I can talk about it anymore without spoiling something for you.
I think it's a good stopping point.
I think, I guess next Sunday is Easter. So I'm assuming we'll probably not record on Sunday, but we'll probably still try to get together as soon as possible.
Yeah, we might get together sometime that next week.
Yeah,
we'll try to release something and get it out there.
Well, at least by next time that we record, we'll have all seen all of Daredevil season 2.
Yep.
So we can do this all over again. Oh,
so we can splooge all over your face.
One kind of weird thing that happened today was on Facebook, you know, where it'll pop up with like 1 year ago, here's the picture that you took.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can share it and stuff. It was the picture that I took when the first time that you came over with the equipment. And we set up in my living room.
And we practiced.
And did that first recording.
Drunk as hell and we practiced.
Fucking hammered.
That was today?
That was 1 year ago today. And also our first podcast that we put up on iTunes was our Daredevil season 1 recap.
How about that?
Look at that.
How about that?
Fucking weird, man.
Pinnacle stuff happening.
Fucking satellites are linking up.
Planets align. All right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. That's pretty neat.
It was a good
Let me
time.
tell you, that first thing we tried.
It was rough.
One day we will put up some edits up there, some B-roll, and you guys will see how terrible we were at this. I mean, if you think we're bad now,
You ain't seen nothing yet.
let me just say.
I've never seen this.
No.
I want to see this.
No, we didn't have a drink minimum then.
No.
Shit got weird, dude.
I think I said I was going to rip somebody's head off and shit down their neck, or it got super weird. And we were talking about weird stuff.
Yeah, we were talking about really weird stuff.
I think my topic was what do you think a soul is?
Do dogs have souls?
Do dogs have souls?
It got really weird, man.
Way too philosophical.
Alan was talking about wrestling, which that's kind of par on the course for Alan. He talks about that stuff normally.
Yeah, it was weird, man. It was. I'm gonna put up some B-roll. I got copies of all this on here.
I think
I'm
once
just gonna edit it up, and
once we start getting more listeners and get a little bit more established,
oh yeah,
we'll put
that'd
it
be
up,
great.
because if we put that up right now, the amount of listeners that we have, it's pretty liable that we lose every single one of those if we put that up right now. It's bad.
Yeah. We didn't really focus in and well, really until we got that first episode.
Yeah.
Then we were like, okay, we know what we're doing.
And it's not offensive. It's just bad.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, what the fuck is this guy's radio podcast about, man? What are they even talking about?
Like, I think they're drunk.
Yeah.
We were.
Yeah, it should have just been named 3 Drunk Guys Talk About Random Shit.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's
and
cool.
with the reminiscing, gonna stop waxing nostalgic for a little bit. Thank you for listening to the Geekyest podcast. Make sure to check us out on iTunes, Android, on Spotify now also. I think you get podcasts on Spotify. On YouTube, on Facebook.com/Geekyest, at the Geekyest, on Periscope, and on Twitter, www.thegeekyest.com. We have all of our podcasts and all of our video stuff archived, so you can watch it anytime that you want to. And email thegeekyest@gmail.com. Pretty much the geekiest for everything. That's all you need to know. For life.
Fill it in at the end or the beginning.
Taking the SATs, you don't have to bubble anything in. Just write the geekiest.
Spell out the geekiest in bubbles.
It's even better.
1600 instantly.
Got it. Thank you guys for listening and watching. I'm Bert.
He's Jim. I'm Jeff.
Alan, we missed you. I almost said I'm Alan.
This is the perfect throwback episode.
Oh, that was great.
All right, we're out of here.
Peace. Oh, that was a great ending. That was great. Oh. Whew.
That was fucking good.
I felt like I was scrambling. I was like, oh, he said I'm Jeff. Oh.
Which one am I? Which one am I?
I'm Jeff, and I would just finish it out. I know in my head I'm thinking, but I'm always third.
Like, which one am I again? Which one?